They told us they were going to publish names of sponsors of terror. If you are aware of this, you can fact check me. Abubakar Malami, and the Attorney General said they had compiled a list of sponsors of terror. They never did. Tinubu has been president for 3 years going. He has not disclosed the name of a single financier of terrorism. I dare you to contradict me. That this government has not told Nigerians one person who has been found to be financing and supporting terrorism in Nigeria. You cannot kill a problem that you are not willing to diagnose. You cannot be taking the accepting prescription from a doctor who is unwilling to diagnose you, who is unwilling to disclose to you what is responsible for the symptoms that you are experiencing. That is what is going on. You are not going to stop these killings when the government has failed to tell us how these terrorists are getting financed. The arms, look at the heavy weaponry that they are using to fight to kill our soldiers. Where are they getting the arms from?
Wow, wow, wow. The game is playing out loudly. You see, I like what this man said. This lawyer barrister in a bear, what's the name again? Sorry, in a bear. So I want you to take your time. I like what he said on this video. It just speaks my mind. And yeah, that is the problem we are all facing in this country today. Do you understand? That is the problem we are facing. The question is, what is APC doing? You see, they can't fool. They are just foolishing themselves, not us. We know what is playing out. So, you know, there is condition when the US, Nigeria lays some delegates to the US to go and make some counterpart concerning these issues going on, this killing, terrorism in Nigeria, blah blah blah, Christian genocide. They let some delegates to go and discuss how America is going to intervene, help us, collaborate with us. But this is something that they are not telling you. Do you understand? This is something that they are not telling you. America gave them some conditions before they can assist to collaborate with them, because they can agree to collaborate with them. They have given them 2 months ultimatum what they needed to do. So they are not going to tell you, APC are not going to tell you this. They will keep it, but we know that this is what they said, this is what is going on. So now I just want you to take your time, listen to what this man said first, then we'll come back and talk about it. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues. Yeah? So anyways, take your time, listen to this barrister. We'll come back and talk about it. Please don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guy runner for me now.
I'm very worried about the direction the country is going, about the way our institutions are treating this matter, the insecurity in the country, particularly in the northern part of the country. We have a country that is supposedly governed by laws. We have the Terrorism Prevention Act. We have the penal codes across the various states in the north. We have various penal legislations that have criminalized terror, criminalized murder, criminalized kidnapping, criminalized arson. We have agencies of government established by law to enforce these laws. Chief among them being the Nigeria Police Force. We have the State Security Service, which is supposed to be the domestic intelligence arm of the Nigerian security architecture. We have the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. If you go further, we even have our armed forces, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Army. And we have a judicial system that is supposed to try, prosecute, and where proven, convict persons who are inflicting this terror on the country. Across the 36 states and the FCT, we have high courts, state high courts. In Abuja, the FCT high court. We have federal high courts with division spread across almost all the states in Nigeria. These courts have jurisdiction to try and prosecute terrorists. Guess what? We have a Federal Ministry of Justice headed by the Attorney General of the Federation. We liaison in almost all the states. At the state levels, we have ministries of justice in all the states, with prosecutors paid by government, both at the national and subnational level. So the issue is not absence of institutions. The problem is not inadequacy of prosecutorial capacity. It is not as if we do not have prosecutors in sufficient numbers to prosecute these terrorists. And I dare submit that the problem is not even that we do not have the manpower within the armed forces and the Nigerian security to stop these killings. My own assessment is that this terrorism has persisted, has festered, because we seem to be living in a country where either terrorists or terrorist sympathizers and financiers are the ones fighting terrorism. And that is why the terror has not ended. That is on the one hand. On the other hand, it looks as if the killings of our fellow countrymen and women have become such a lucrative venture. So I am laying this background to say that from where I stand, I refuse, and I'm willing to stake anything on this, I refuse to accept the premise that the entire components of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Army, with formations across the country, is so weak, is so incompetent, is so directionless, is so inefficient, is so understaffed to be held to ransom. What we have seen, government after government, particularly the 8 years, the disastrous years of the Buhari regime and the Tinubu dispensation, is that those who have the capacity, those in government, they do not appreciate the urgency of now. Because how do you explain the argument about non-kinetic strategy that the likes of Gumi and his co-travelers have been propagating? That, oh, the solution does not lie in bombing and killing them.
It says Southern Kaduna has produced that result.
How?
That is his template.
What is the result that we have seen? What is the result? You should explain to us. Because I listened to the
scale of attacks, number of killings since this governor came in because he was able to negotiate.
What is the strategy of the government?
Of the governor?
We had a former governor of that state. I'm not saying that they have come to challenge Verify. Who declared on national? I'm not sure if it was your station. Who just declared on national television a few days ago, accusing the governor of paying 1 billion to terrorists. I don't know whether that is true, but this is what the former governor is saying. So are they telling us?
On this platform. So I'm just wondering, perhaps if you can paint a picture of a failed state, and when you consider Nigeria, does it tick all of the boxes of what a representation of a failed state is?
Quite an interesting question. Has the Nigerian state failed? The question is, the state standing? Is the state efficient? What are the indices to come to a conclusion that the state has failed? One, and very vital, is where the state has lost the monopoly of violence. The capacity to deploy force as an instrument for ensuring social cohesion. The Nigerian state has lost that. The second is where institutions are not working. I just laid the foundation of all the institutions that exist under our laws to address this mayhem. These institutions have failed. So where is the capacity of the Nigerian state for anybody to pretend, if at a minimum we do not want to agree that the state has failed, we should be able to agree that the Nigerian state is failing, and is failing at an accelerated rate. Because today, you have a commander-in-chief that is not even commanding Boy Scouts. You have a commander-in-chief whose words, whose orders are almost meaningless.
Would that be fair assessment of his role?
It is fair.
The president is doing what he can do.
What is he doing? He's welcoming the campaigns. He's celebrating governors who are transiting from PDP, from Labour Party, governors and lawmakers to the APC. That is what excites him. I have not seen that passion by this president to stop the killings. So first, he has not visited the victims.
Yeah, but some argue that he had to boycott some international trips, for that security meeting held, I think, on Saturday. He had to deploy the Minister of Defense to Kebbi State and all of that. Yes, he's not visited, but the Vice President visited Kebbi.
He has not visited.
But the Vice President was
the Vice President, the Commander-in-Chief. And when the Vice President went to Kebbi, what have they achieved? What have they achieved? Yesterday, announcement was made that, yesterday or 2 days ago, that this same president has ordered that policemen will be withdrawn from all VIPs in Nigeria, so that policemen can be redirected to fight actual security. As I was on your way to the station, I cannot count the number of convoys that I've seen policemen in their numbers accompanying VIPs. You have a president whose words are meaningless. They are deceiving us. This President Bola Tinubu has no interest in stopping these killings. That is my assessment. I will never accept that the Nigerian government does not have the capacity to stop these things. Because how many are they? Members of Boko Haram, members of ISWAP, the so-called bandits who are actually terrorists, how many are there?
When you talk about the urgency of now and the ability of the state to come strong, what exactly are you saying? Because everybody seems to say wants something drastic to happen, but I don't think I've heard anybody say what that thing is. What is that thing you expect to happen?
You're not going to solve this problem. Well, history will vindicate the just, like I always say. But I don't see these killings, I don't see these endless, abominable atrocities being put to an end by the government going on its knees before the terrorists.
The reason I'm asking that question, because you're a lawyer, and that's why we're bringing the legal angle. We haven't seen the much we can see in them. Nnamdi Kanu was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment on the 7-count charge. And then I haven't seen the CTC of, I've read the Nnamdi Kanu CTC, but the one of an ISWAP leader that was sentenced to 20 years, perhaps an ideological terrorist. I haven't seen the CTC, so I don't know which count to give him 20 years, because we know what the law says at the end of the day. Is there also a failure in prosecution successfully of terrorists to be able to deter them from being able to do what they do? Is that part of the failure?
Of course. Under Buhari, they told us they were going to publish names of sponsors of terror. If you are aware of this, you can fact check me. Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General, said they had compiled a list of sponsors of terror. They never did. Tinubu has been president for 3 years going. He has not disclosed the name of a single financier of terrorism. I dare you to contradict me. That this government has not told Nigerians one person who has been found to be financing and supporting terrorism in Nigeria. You cannot kill a problem that you are not willing to diagnose. You cannot be accepting prescription from a doctor who is unwilling to diagnose you, who is unwilling to disclose to you what is responsible for the symptoms that you are experiencing. That is what is going on. You are not going to stop these killings when the government has failed to tell us how these terrorists are getting financed, the arms. Look at the heavy weaponry that they are using to fight, to kill our soldiers. Where are they getting the arms from? It is either it comes in from the sea, from the air, or from land borders.
The reason, my question actually is, what in the law can we do to strengthen national security? Because you're a lawyer, so you need to give us that.
It is not paucity of laws. I want to be understood. You know, I laid a foundation, intentionally so. Nigeria has avalanche, plethora of legislations. Nigeria has institutions to implement these laws. What is lacking is the political will. The political will. Look at what Saudi Arabia did with terrorists. I am telling you this morning that 3 years going, President Bola Tinubu administration is unable to disclose to Nigerians a single person that is financing terrorism in our country. That is the beginning. The Ministry of Justice has not even come out plain to disclose to all the information at their disposal regarding, because if you are going to solve the problem, you must be willing to implement the law. In the case of Nnamdi Kanu, who has now been convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment, we had agents of the State Security Service going to give evidence against him, even though in Camara that is in secret. And then they said, oh, this is what he had done. Now he has been convicted. I hear he's in Sokoto Custodial Center. Some form of judicial process, the fairness of which some people have subjected to debate. But I'm saying, how come that when it comes to the terrorists or not, we only hear few cases? And why is the government unwilling to arrest them? Are you saying that? I listened to Bayo Nanuga on the sister station barely 24 hours ago, less than 24 hours ago, explaining how the kidnapped victims in Iruko in Kwara State were rescued. You know what he said? He said the military and the State Security Service were in contact with them, that they called them and asked them to release the victims. Are we stupid in Nigeria?
I don't understand.
That is, he's claiming, I just watched the clip before I came on here, that the Nigerian military and the SSS, I mean the video is right online, I just watched it, called the terrorists and told them, release them, oh, let my people go. That if they did not do so, they would have known the repercussion. What does that tell you? It's substantiates my position. That look, this government knows who the killers are. They said they know where they are, their coordinates. Are you saying that the SSS, that is so quick, that is so excited to locate people that are using accounts with not with their real identity, to track them, pick them up for criticizing government, like the man that they accused of calling for a coup? They were able to track him, locate him. Yes, terrorists that are slaughtering people, slitting their throats, they have TikTok accounts. They are competing with us on TikTok.
Right. Yes, I mean,
and the SSS is not able to track them.
Yeah.
He's not able to. I reject this premise. I completely reject this premise as false.
I saw one of those videos as well, early hours of this morning, where terrorists on TikTok was boasting. So, is there something faulty about the system of governments that we practice? Because you have said it's the political will, but basic knowledge about the systems of government is that we have three arms.
Yes.
The executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. But now it looks as if this system that we practice, the legislative and the judiciary, which you represent, you are under the executive. In fact, you are at the mercies of those in the other arm, which you're supposed to be at par with. And that's why we see perhaps some of us fall to these issues of governors buying houses or building houses for judges, buying cars for judges, because it looks like in the end,
yes,
they are you judges, or judges, as they say, eventually do not have a say. So is there something faulty as well about this system of government that we practice? Before you indict judges for having a hand in the terrorism in Nigeria, the question is, how many cases have even been taken to courts? How many trials are going on? You see, I want us to have clarity of thought on this issue. Yes, the judiciary has a role to play. But the judiciary, the justice system is not a self-activating institution. Judges are not on their own going to prefer charges and issue summons on the government to bring the terrorists for trial. The charges have to be filed, and then the cases are assigned. The cases that are in court, the very few that they are even pretended or shown interest to take to court, trials are going on. Whether those trials are handled expeditiously enough is a different thing. But I'm saying that today, if we are going to blame the judiciary, I don't think it's the bench. Maybe it's the Ministry of Justice. And don't forget that it is not only the federal government that can address this issue. Because let us also be sincere. At the state levels, murder is a state offense in Nigeria. Essentially. Kidnapping is also a state offense, except where the culprits are being tried under the Terrorism Prevention Act. How many terrorists in Kebbi State have the Kebbi State government shown interest to prosecute? What are they doing? What they are doing is that they are dining with them. We see officials of state government at the sub-national level holding meetings with these insurgents. It beats my imagination that in a country like the politician from Plateau said, in a country that General Uba was killed, you saw how they executed him. A general. What does that speak to the morale of the men on the battlefield? It is reported that they even took his phone and ridiculed him. Do you know the amount of intelligence that is lost by that singular act of breach to national security? Yet, this non-kinetic nonsense they are telling us, I don't believe is efficient. Because when you arrest them when they strike in Borno, kidnap school children,
and you go and pay them, because what is a non-kinetic? They now realize that, look, why can't they go to Kwara? You go to Kwara to rescue them, pay them ransom. Why can't they go to Kaduna? It has become an endless cycle. And what is the agitation about?
Right.
If they are saying that, like, the mischief makers like Gumi are suggesting or insinuating that the problem is that the terrorists have not been catered for, they have been abandoned. I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. In my village, in my community, there are people that cannot afford 3 square meal or even a square meal. Even in the natural delta that is so rich, there are communities that are not motorable. So the problem of underdevelopment is a national problem. So let us stop excusing what is clearly an act of criminality. The federal government has the capacity, if it truly wants to address this matter, to deploy the required, and when they say non-kinetic, dialogue. I ask you, when are we going to dialogue with those in IDP camps? Millions of Nigerians are displaced. Nobody is calling for dialogue with them. No form of resettlement.
Yeah.
Where are the victims in this conversation? Let the federal government stop playing politics with terrorism. You cannot be dining with killers and expect that things will be normal.
Anyway, so of course, there's no way you're going to talk about these issues without passion, because as long as lives are lost, it's painful. As we said, whether we're talking with whoever, for the average Nigerian, we're just tired of people dying. And this killing has to stop. But I think we also agree that it won't just happen. The state has to make it happen. And there has to be that willingness. Most thank you so much. There's a couple of other things we wanted to discuss with you. But time is certainly not our friend today. Anybody if is a legal practitioner and the right activist, thank you.
Don ba gwamnati ta daure man wanda yake cikin daji ya ta'addanci ba Allah ubangiji ya tsine ma Allah dauki rayuwa ta a wurin. Bahilla ce saniya aka san shi da ita sai noma. Saniya ba ta haifa bindiga AK 47. Bahilla ce bai da makerar da zai kera bindiga AK 47. Gwamnati ke turowa har muka samu mu kuma wallahi dalilin da yasa billahi lazi shekara na 7 ina makarantar allo, amma lokacin da na dawo na tsinci kaina a cikin wannan abun wallahi ina mamaki kullun ina tunanin rayuwata saboda mahaifana akalla a kasar dan ban.
Did you listen to that? Very good. You know, the thing is, like I said, the US gave Tinubu, the delegates to the US, ultimatum, 2 months ultimatum, and they gave them 3 major things to do before they can listen to Tinubu to know that they are serious. Now, do you think Tinubu is serious or he's going to do this? Now, you listen to this Hausa man, this interview, this one. This was one of the peace deal talk in one of these casinos, one of the northern states. When the man, if you don't understand what he said, he's saying that the federal government gave them ammunition, gave them weapons, AK-47, that they are just Fulanis. Fulani do not know anything apart from cow. They don't know anything. They don't know what is AK-47. It is the government who gave them this job that they are doing, and they are doing it very well. That's what he's saying. If you don't understand that, they are even annoyed that government gave them job. They are doing the job excellently, and they are disturbing them doing the job. That is government who is financing them, who is giving them these weapons that they are using. He went further saying that a cow does not give birth to AK-47. How are they? Where are they getting money to buy AK-47? And where are they getting those things from? Who are they going to meet that will look at them like this and sell AK-47 to them? To do what? That it is the government that is sponsoring them, that is financing and giving them this, and give them mandate, and they are working on it. That's what he said. Now, back to the conditions from the US. The US said, you know, they let the delegate, this man was there, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, Inspector General of Police, and plus Minister, I think Minister of Finance, plus Minister of, Minister of Defense, I think plus other ministers who they were there. What are the conditions? Number 1, they said Nigeria government should release Sunday Jackson, who were unlawfully detained and sentenced to life imprisonment. This man, this farmer, who were in his farm doing farming work. As a result of that, Fulani comes to his farm to destroy. So on the process, they were fighting. So on the process, this farmer were able to overpower the Fulani. Right? Were able to overpower the Fulani. They buy the Fulani. So now they now sentence, they arrest this man, get this man arrested, sentence him to court, unlawful arrest, detain, because it was a self-defense. They now even went for that, sentence him to court. Why did you kill our member? This one means that you are telling people not to kill these people, Fulani, that they are special. Even if whatever they did to you, it doesn't mean. And you are just trying to use that to make sure people never disturb them. They come to your farm, destroy, do whatever they want to do. Imagine a court of Nigeria. So this story was really interesting. That caught American attention. They came to Nigeria during these issues at that time. Some people are familiar with the story. There they came. You know, they have missionaries, they have delegates, missionaries in this country. And that one is a Christian. So who would have thought Jackson, who is a poor farmer, who had nobody, nobody, the US will come for his rescue. Now the US demands release of this young man. unconditionally. They should release him to go. And anybody who is unlawfully detained, arrested, sentenced to prison, arrest, life imprisonment or death penalty, they should release them. Who is unlawfully detained, arrested, sentenced to life imprisonment or death penalty because of self-defense, they should release them. Government should release them. That's number one condition. They specifically mention this guy, this man named Jackson, Sunday Jackson. Do you think it is easy for government to release him from prison after sentencing him to life imprisonment? Do you think so? Number one condition. Secondly, they said Tinubu should disarm these different groups. That is to say, collect their weapons from them. Collect weapons from them. Disarm them. That is, we know that you are serious. In 2 months, you and I know Tinubu cannot do it. A government of APC cannot do it. These people are powerful than this government of today. Do you understand? They can't do it. That's number one. And that's number two conditions given to them, 2 months ultimatum, to disarm these people before they can collaborate with Tinubu, or else they will do it by themselves. And if they want to do it by themselves, it's not going to be a joke. It's not going to be a child's play. It's going to be serious, even serious for Tinubu. That's what Donald Trump said. That's what it is on the tables of Donald Trump. The Congress have already, according to the Congress, have already approved military gun abrasing to them. So they are just waiting and giving Tinubu this condition. If you fail to do this, we are coming to do it for you. Then thirdly, they said Tinubu should publish the names of the sponsor of these different groups. Boko Haram, terrorists, ISWAP, Qaeda, whatever groups, Makurawa, that are operating in Nigeria currently. Now, Tinubu should mention their names, publish the names so that people, the whole world will see. Now, how do you expect Tinubu to do that in 2 months? You and I know that some of them are in his cabinet working for him. Right? So how do you expect Tinubu to do that? It's not possible, isn't it? So, so they said, you need to do this for a way to know the level of your seriousness and to know that you are serious. Otherwise, we are going to do it for you. He said, if you refuse to do it, we will probably publish the names by ourselves. We know them. The US, they have data. You think they don't know what is going on in Nigeria? They know what is going on. They have data, right, that you may not have. They have it. They are here everywhere. They are certain, watching, monitoring. The transaction you are doing, how are you doing the transaction? They are monitoring you. They know where the money goes. They are just keeping you quiet all this time. But now, the time has come for you. And you need to, everybody now, you need to face your problem. Do you understand? So that is the conditions. They said Tinubu should release the names. You know, during Buhari's time, they first of all released the names from UAE, Dubai. Until today, they did nothing with the list given to them from Dubai. That these are the problems sponsoring these Boko Haram different groups that are the problem of this country. Take the name, deal with these people. But Buhari refused to do something. He never did anything. He never done anything about it. He has not done anything about it. He refused. These people have been there. They were operating because they know them. Tinubu, Buhari, and all of them. They brought these people to Nigeria. Of recent, we hear Rufai said they are paying $1 billion every month to keeping these people. But yet they are still upon giving them this money. That's why you see maybe Kaduna now, they are not destroying like other states who are not paying, but they are paying them. That's the reason why you see the governor is trying that there is no all those things. So no, how long are you going to continue to pay these people? Now they now know the money is a lucrative business for them now. Do you now understand? So they said if Tinubu refused to do this, they are going to do it for you. And if they decided to do it for you, it's going to be more dangerous and more serious for even the Tinubu himself. Do you understand? So that is the problem. So now the thing is, can Tinubu do it? Remember, how can Tinubu mention the name of Shetima, who is the vice president? Because the name released before, the name was mentioned. This is not his story. This man, Sheriff Modu, former governor of Borno State, is there. So all of them, they are working freely. Gumi is there, who suddenly become the government spokesperson. Right? He's there. So how do you expect Tinubu to mention, release the name of Matawale, Minister of Defense, who has been mentioned, accused many times? Who? So these are not stories again. These are on the public domain. They are everywhere. These are not stories. If this is story allegations, no evidence, these people who their names has been mentioned, they would have sued people who mentioned their names since. Where did you see me? How? No, it's a lie. Come and prove it. They have evidence. So yet, we refuse to do something about it. Now, Tinubu now have conditions. Either you do it or we do it for you. If you refuse to do it, we are going to do it for you. Now, expect Donald Trump military actions now till February, March next year. So it's going to come because Tinubu cannot meet up with these conditions. He cannot do it. For you to solve a problem, you need to first of all identify the problem. Know who you are fighting. The situation whereby you know these people, you don't want to call their names. Tinubu has never even called these people terrorists. All these bandits, a lot of people are calling them. Tinubu has never even condemned them, called them names. No, because he knows what he's playing. So let Donald Trump, with the intervention of the world, come on, let them come and help us, because Tinubu cannot do. If you wait for him 100 years, he cannot do nothing. Please, what do you think? Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Be your guy, run out for me now.